Welcome to the Malting Hour. I am one of your hosts, Tony Golick, joined always with...
Well, I should hit record.
Okay, let's try it again.
Oh, no! Ah!
I was recording anyway.
Oh, man. You got me on that one, man. You got it.
This week, we rate our favorite beers from 2022 for the Malteez. This is episode 101 of the Malting Hour.
What's the haps on the hops? Got yeast and speeds. This the Molten Hour where we talk about our drink and tell you what we think every other week. And if we get drunk, well, we might slur our speech. Got the gift of gab, the friends you wish you had. Join us for a drink, join us for a laugh. Time is never wasted, where you getting wasted. The Molten Hour here, people take your places. People take your places. People take your home.
Welcome to the Malting Hour. I am one of your hosts, Tony Golick, joined always with...
Brandon Winninger.
And to my left...
Danny.
And in the way back...
Coming from behind, Clark Fettridge.
Life story.
You can find him on Bumble. All right, welcome everybody. This is the first episode of 2023, episode 101. We did it. We made it through the first 100, and what better way to start the next 100 than with the Malteez. Normally we do the Malteez, for the end of the year. Not normally, it's just that's how it's been. There's no real schedule for it, but this year it just happens to land in the beginning of January, and here we are. You guys excited about revealing what your top beers were for 2022?
I'm very excited.
Wow, you guys were fucking. Thank you, Brandon.
I was gonna say I don't think. I know in a lot of episodes I think I've mentioned this is a contender for the Malteez. Mm-hmm. So I don't think there's going to be some, probably it might be on your list too, but some that just aren't a surprise. And then there's some other ones that may be a surprise. But I went back. I was listening to some episodes too yesterday, just kind of gathering my thoughts of what I thought about certain beers and to see did I really like that as much as I thought I did?
I did the same thing. And I think there's actually one beer I'm just thinking of right now that I didn't include on the list that is definitely on the list. Yeah. Because I think we drank it last year.
We can make it an honorable mention at least.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it should be probably one of the top beers, but now that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, I think there was I don't know if it was last year or the year, maybe it was last year when we were doing the Malteez. We were talking about a beer that I don't know if all of us enjoyed it, but I couldn't figure out if we drank it right at the end of the last year. Or...
That's what I'm thinking about. The beer that I'm thinking about in particular is, I don't know if it was last year or this year. I don't know what year.
Shoot me a text and I'll do the research.
Oh, all right. Sounds good. Yeah, that's right. Hey, Clark, it's nice to have you back, man.
Pleasure is mine.
Oh, man. While I text Clark, what do you guys want to... I think what I'd like to start off with before we get into the beers is that...
Talk about what we're drinking
What we're drinking first. Dan, why don't you go ahead and read that?
So, Tony was kind enough to bring this in. This is the Lagunitas Woodshop Series Willetized Coffee Stout aged in rye oak barrels. And this is this year's version of it. Comes in at 13.1%. And from our Kentucky distiller, J.D. Willett himself. I'm trying to see if it says what coffee it is. Sorry.
I don't think they do.
I don't see anything.
Folgers, probably.
Is it in the small print that's all around with their phone numbers listed that we called? Is it just me? I feel like the body on this is a little lighter than in years past.
Dan and I were just talking about this beer on the way over, and I was comparing it a bit to Dragon's Milk.
Okay.
For body wise. But I feel like there's a little more sweetness, and Dan looks really perplexed right now.
Well, I was trying to see. It's got date coding. I was just trying to see when they actually bottled these.
The coffee and barrel, it's boozy. There's a bitterness.
Yeah.
To it. It's kind of boozy.
It is.
Clark, what do you think?
Boozy and bitter.
He's still doing the research. I may have given you the wrong name for the beer.
Is this like a treasure hunt?
Kind
of.
The
The Maltese traditional annual treasure hunt.
I know that the one word is correct in the title of the name of the beer. So if you just put in the brewery and the second word, you should be able to find it.
Oh, I got it. You were just backwards.
Thank you.
But yeah,
yes, I do recall this one.
I was gonna say the nose on this, it's really strong. As soon as you poured it, I could smell it as soon as I brought it to my nose.
It smells like coffee.
Yeah, I get a barrel.
Really?
Yeah,
I
me
get
too.
coffee.
I get coffee on if I go a little deeper on it. But when I
Put your
sip
nose
it,
in deeper. Yeah.
I get coffee. Oh,
when I dip the
drinking coffee.
nose hairs. But I'm getting a lot of barrel on the taste too. Like it's like the coffee is like secondary for me. I mean, I don't know.
When you have a lesser of a palate than most of us, but no, you're right. I think I just get more. I think the coffee's just standing out a little bit more to me. But the barrel, I can taste them both pretty well.
Yeah, third sip in, the coffee is a little more punchy.
Yeah, maybe that's because now your mouth is just used to the barrel. So
Oh, it's Metropolis coffee.
Oh,
Hey.
shout out local roastery.
wait. So was this made here?
Could be an Illinois one.
Yeah, maybe it
Or
was.
Chicago, I mean. By the way, they're back open. We should go.
Well, it said they're opening. Are they open?
Are they fully reopened yet?
No.
No.
So that thing I sent you though, apparently they had a holiday party and like Nick got invited to that.
Nice. Way to go, Nick.
I was like, oh.
You want to go?
So it doesn't say. It just says it has Petaluma, California, Chicago, Illinois on the bottom. It doesn't tell me where.
Yeah, I'm wondering if they just use the same. They just put all the same information on the labels. So they don't have to make separate labels for each brewery,
And
each location.
we may have talked about Dan, did you ever go to Lagunitas here or no?
Yeah, I did. There was like an environmental lobbying thing that had an event there
Sounds
that I
right.
went to.
You sound really excited.
It was about Great Lakes water and stuff
Oh,
like that.
nice. So it's like,
yeah.
what better place to be?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I still have yet to go. I walked in with my brother before a Hawks game one year, walked right past the line that was outside the tap room, and just walked right in. The guy's like, yeah, that line is to get in. I'm like, oh. So we left.
See you later,
It's
Tater.
like a circus when you go in there.
Yeah.
It's so funny. I just have in my head that the Willy Wonka music has never stopped playing throughout the
Yeah,
pandemic.
the entire
It just
time.
keeps
I
going.
hope so. I hope that's the case.
And your operator is just standing by for more calls.
Yeah. It's funny. I think I went back and I listened to that episode. Did we have that on the episode? The call.
The actual phone call, yeah.
Yeah. The woman's name. I think I looked her up, and I don't think she works like on LinkedIn. I think I like typed her name in, and so she's not there anymore. I was like, oh.
Well, we'll have to call back and
Yeah.
Get
So
her
we
on
were
the- get her on the show.
promised.
yeah. We have a voicemail saying that we're promised to have a talk with somebody. Anyway,
That would be cool to before the reopening.
it would be actually. Good thinking. Get on that, Clark.
I am typing them an email right now.
Excellent.
All right.
You
So,
don't know me, but
what do you? So overall, what do you guys think of this?
it's good. I don't think the coffee's too pronounced, actually, which fits my style.
Yeah, I'd say this is probably right up your alley.
And I don't
like
think it's
it.
too thin.
But it is a lighter body than what I remember it being.
Yeah, it's not like a chewy stout, but it's
No.
also not like, and I don't mean this in like a negative way, but off colors barrel aged stouts are usually like really thin to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I had a couple days ago. I had the Lagunitas, the High Westified.
Oh, yeah.
From 2017.
So that's what made me think of bringing this today.
And that was thicker, and I'm missing that.
Well, excuse me. The price point on this also is 4-pack is like $14. So I mean,
pretty darn good.
to buy this and then have it sit in your fridge, you really want to have like a barrel aged beer, but not go into something
Oh,
that's
yeah.
maybe too big and thick and
Yeah.
maybe weighing you down. This is the way to go.
Yeah, this is like, I don't know, like bombers. You can't drink a whole bomber by yourself, or at least I can't these
but
days.
I mean, you shouldn't.
Yeah, so this is
Frowned
perfect.
upon. So you hear that, Clark? No bombers today.
Got it. Unless it's over a long period of time,
This guy gets it.
like 45 minutes.
An episode and a half of Only Murders in the Building, which I haven't finished the second season yet. Getting there though, guys. I'm getting there.
Only Murders?
Yeah, getting there. Almost there. So let's start it. Let's get into our Malteez, man. Let's do it. Brandon, I know you said that you really have 3, and that's fine. If you want to throw in 2 here, I'm gonna
No,
start.
there's like 6 on my list.
Okay, but there was 3 for sure. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is what we're gonna do then. I do have mine in somewhat of an order of what I liked the
Me too.
most. So what I'm gonna do is we'll start at number 5. Brandon, since you don't really have, like you said, you don't have necessarily ranked, you can throw in whatever you want.
I've got like my top 2 or 3.
Top 2? 3? That's fine. All right, so I'm gonna go with my number 5. My number 5 comes from Double Clutch Brewing in Evanston.
What?
Smooth Alternator.
Ooh, it's alt
Which-
beer.
What's up?
Is that an alt beer?
No, if I'm not mistaken, I believe it's a Dunkelweiss.
Doppelbock.
Doppelbock, thank you. Yeah, that was one of my favorite beers that day when we went and did that episode. I really enjoy Box, figuring that out, as we go along with this show. But a Doppelbock, done right, has a nice like chocolatiness to it, and theirs was like, that's a beer I want like right now, as cold as it is here in Chicago. Like that's a perfect type of like beer to sip on without, and it's higher in alcohol, but it's not like a big barrel age stout or anything. It's a nice, tasty, roasty beer. Good for this time of year.
Sounds good.
Yeah, everything I've had from Double Clutch, I've been there 2 or 3 times now. Super solid. And I just feel like I just started seeing them in retail. I was at Bottles and Cans last week, and I had 3 or 4
I
of
haven't
them.
seen them yet.
And that, I think,
That's
was the
cool.
first time I saw them out in the wild.
I wonder if it's like they're doing small distribution, like places like Bottles and Cans.
Yeah,
maybe,
well,
like
because they
beer
won,
and
what
all.
was it, Small Brewery of the Year, Brew Pub or
Capitalizing
whatever.
on that.
At GABF.
Is
Yeah.
it cans or bottles?
Cans.
So, and
They
I don't
have
know.
cans to go.
I don't
at
know if
the
I
brewery.
mentioned this on an episode before, but Double Clutch, if you want to get it on draft somewhere else, if you go to the dock at Montrose, they serve it there because they own that location too.
Oh, nice.
Oh, interesting.
Part of their restaurant group.
Is that the one that's
yeah.
the dock? Is that on the beach there?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Probably closed right now, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I
Let's
remember
go and check it out.
We went there over the summer, and I was like, "Oh yeah!" And like they had like 3 or 4 Double Clutch on tap.
I had no
It was nice.
idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's they're awesome. That was a fun time to go there. And Brandon and I sat there for a while. I mean, we ate some food, but we got a chance to sample almost every single, if not,
We did every single beer.
between the two of us. I mean,
Yeah,
we
we
take
were-
a sip of each other's, but also, I mean, we didn't sit there and each try, every single beer.
And then we
But
ordered brunch.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah,
It was,
food was really good, too.
Food was really good. The staff was really cool, and we're really happy for those guys and lucky to have them in the greater Chicagoland area and out in Evanston, where I once worked before Clark fired me about 7 years ago. 5 years ago. 6 years ago.
We ran into Scott recently over at Temperance.
Oh, yeah, that's right. When we did the Might Meets Right. And we said we were talking about going back over there.
Yep.
So we're going to do that. That is something that we're planning on doing.
I'll go with you.
Maybe. For this 2023 year, this 2023 season, we're planning on revisiting Double Clutch and talking a little bit more with them. So that's my number 5 for 2022.
Love Casey
All right, Dan, what about you?
All right. So,
It's funny. I was going to throw it to you, Brandon.
well, so my number 5, and this is one that we had when we were at GABF. It is the Lost Abbey Duck Duck Goose Anniversary Blend,
Very nice.
which
nice
I
choice.
really enjoyed. Yeah, I was having trouble. I was telling Tony, but I was having trouble coming up with my top 5, and then I started thinking about what I had there, and I was like, wait, that was really good. That was really good. And
Absolutely. That was, I will say that one was actually close to being in my top 5.
yeah, very good beer. It was the first time I've ever had it, and they're out of California. I can't remember what city right now off the top of my head, but yeah, Duck Duck Goose. They're goose, so it's a blend of 3 different years of wild beers.
San Marcos, California.
San Marcos. Thank you. Yeah, so I think the 3 of us tried that. I don't remember, but yeah, I really, really enjoyed that beer. And I can't remember like specific details about it at this point, but I remember really.
I remember
loving
being tart, and I remember being refreshing.
it.
Those are the 2 things that stood out for me.
Yeah, but some good like.
Maybe
You
they
could
have-
tell it was like a naturally done sour. It wasn't like a kettle sour or anything like that. Like it had like levels. I remember.
It also won something at Fobab, but it wasn't on. They weren't serving it, so it was submitted.
That's right.
But they weren't serving it, which I would like. When we saw that it won, I was like, we walked by. Where
Is that the one that was best in show?
I don't
Or what
know.
won
I'm
Best
not
in
sure.
Show?
But I was bummed because it would have been nice to have it again because it was super tasty.
Yeah.
That's a nice number 5, Dan. Way to go. Look, a first entry from GABF and Fobab from where we've gone this year. Clark,
Yeah.
what's your number 5?
Number 5 comes from down the street. Surprise, surprise.
Oh, here it is. The first entry from them.
But it might come as a surprise knowing what kind of beers I like. My number 5 this year is from Old Irving. Life's Blood. Their dark lager. I'm not a huge dark lager guy,
He's not a Tony.
but oh man, I got this a little bit before Halloween. And I don't know if you've seen the can. It's like a Dracula castle mansion. So it all just kind of fit in and it hit me. And I drank all 4 of them in about 3 days.
Yeah, it is a fantastic beer. That is another beer, like you said, about the roastiness that you get from a lager. It's
sure.
It's not high in alcohol, but it's definitely it's there's a nice body to it as well. Sorry, Dan.
For sure. But then
Ever show me something while I'm talking?
Oh, sorry.
and the nice thing was
Can't multitask. What are you doing?
I can't read and speak.
yeah, there's a nice body to it, but it's also light in a sense, and you can pick it up.
That's why I got fired. Tony can't read and speak. We gotta let him go. Yes, it does have
Yeah.
a nice body to it.
But it's light. I mean, it's light in a sense, and so you're not drinking a 10%.
yeah. It's good.
You get some heft, but you're not falling asleep after drinking it.
I had recently picked after I saw you had some. I think I mentioned like, ooh, I gotta get some. I did. I found a 4-pack of it, and I'd had that recently as well.
Well, they had it when they were here.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, and I didn't get it because I thought it was going to be like blood orange or something.
No,
like
man.
An idiot.
No, if you listen to our episodes, we've talked about that beer.
Interesting.
I think we got to reevaluate your contract for this year. I don't know if they're gonna.
I've been revising it. We've got a lot of markups on it.
All right. Well,
We need more time for the real malting out, anyways.
we know
so.
Clark has been re-signed for the next 4 years.
Oh yeah, big contract.
Huge. We're paying him. We're paying him a
Aaron
lot.
Judge contract.
Something like that. Let's get number 5, and
Yeah.
there it is. The first time we see Old Irving making the list.
Probably not the last.
Probably not. Brandon, what is on your floating top 5?
So I do have a solid, probably number 5 beer that I enjoyed, and this is also out of Great American Beer Fest. I don't know if you guys had tried it, but it was the beer that was recommended in the elevator that somebody said was their favorite. It was from Loveland Brewery.
I think I did try this.
Their blackberry lemon bar.
Yes. Yeah.
And that was fantastic. It was a sour. It was really good. It got lemon. I got that blackberry, and it had that kind of like chewiness of like a lemon bar, and that truly impressed me. I enjoyed that a lot.
Can I add a category to next year's Malteez?
Yes.
Beer recommended in an elevator.
Got
We
it.
all have to choose one
Okay.
that
Yeah,
has been
perfect.
recommended
I think we
to
at
us
least.
in an elevator.
I mean, we do get recommended beers while we're in elevators often. But it was funny because were we going to the fest or coming
I
back?
think
from
it was
the
day
fest?
2. We were heading down. We were either going for breakfast or we were going over to the
The
fest.
breakfast. Good breakfast.
Breakfast sounds good.
Free breakfast.
Free breakfast is always a good breakfast.
Good potatoes.
And then we found out there was another free breakfast once we got to the awards.
Really, I'm slightly upset that we did not get those breakfast burritos because those things were probably fantastic.
We should have grabbed them and just pocketed them and
I know, man.
waited for the day. Ate while we were walking around. But that is a good pick. Good pick. That I did get to try that as well, and it was tasty. I did not check in all of my day 2 beers on Untappd, so I can't go back to what I had there.
So I do officially have like a top 5 now. I went through it.
Fantastic.
I organized everything. So.
Outstanding. I'm happy to hear that.
All right, so Tony,
Yeah.
are we gonna open another beer? Are we gonna jump into our number 4? What do you think?
I think we open up another beer,
It's
Dan.
like-
And then start talking about number 4.
fucking
I gotta be honest.
talking.
I mean, no, Dan.
When are we gonna start
Dan,
drinking?
Dan read my mind because that's exactly what I was going to do. I was like, how about we open up another beer and we'll move on to number 4, and I'll talk about my number 4 while you guys figure out what it is we're going to drink.
Dollars, let them go. Eeny, meeny, miny. All right, we're going pastrami.
Pastrami.
So far, it's the Tony Show.
Damn right. Welcome to the Tony Show. That's how we're starting 2023. No, just beers that I brought. This was so I got this beer as a grab bag gift at my job because
What a nice grab bag you got.
the
there.
person that got it for me, the salesperson who she works for, he works for Shure Microphones, and so he knows that I do a podcast, and he's like, oh, he does a beer podcast, get him some beer. So she went and got me some beer, and apparently this is what she said. She said when she went to Benny's, she said, oh, I have this person I'm getting, a coworker I'm getting a grab bag gift for beer. What do you suggest? He does a beer podcast.
There's more in there if you want some more.
And he said, what beer podcast? And she said, oh, the Malting Hour. And he goes, oh yeah, I know that one. I don't know if that's true.
Or is that just,
Yeah, I don't know if that's true or
Blown
not. but-
smoke.
Man, why are you giving me an empty can?
It's not empty.
Dan, I don't want the bottom of that.
That's what I say about the
Now
Malting
it's
Hour.
all-
That's where the spices are for the
It is.
pastrami.
I think it's for the
If you
pastrami
guys
is.
want to smell and take a sip while I talk about my number 4, and then we can get to the beer.
Well, oh, sorry.
Actually, let's try this. Let's try this first.
So this is from Pipeworks Brewing Company, pastrami on rye. So it's a collaboration with Manny's Deli, which is a deli here in Chicago. A rye ale with smoked malt, brown sugar, black pepper, coriander seed, red pepper, and mustard seed. And I'm looking for 8.1%.
Oh shit.
Who sits around? I blame Garrett, but
Yeah.
who sits around and like,
Garrett.
man, it'd be awesome to like make a pastrami beer.
I want to know what everybody's take on this is before I say anything.
I think it's solid.
I've had this before. This is either my palate's changed or this is a much more mild approach to what this beer used to be.
They didn't.
You mean
overdo
like
it.
from a previous
Absolutely.
rendition of it?
Like the first time we had, the first time we had this was, and it was in a bomber, and Mike and I had it. I mean, it was like almost drinking like straight pastrami, like liquid pastrami. Like, and not, it was a fun thing to try. It was like when beers were getting super weird and trying like insane shit for adjuncts and stuff. This though is a much nicer, more beer forward, and then here's all these spices in the back that like there's a smokiness I get to it. I can taste some of the other things in there. I'm actually pretty happy that now I'm happier that I have this and I didn't just give it all to you guys.
I think that I'm not getting a ton of the adjuncts. Like I'm getting the smoked malt. Yeah. I'm getting the rye sort of like burn-ish type thing. I'm not getting like any of the
The extra,
I don't think I'm getting red pepper,
coriander
coriander.
seed, yeah.
I was
mustard
gonna say
seed.
coriander I get a little bit of.
Yeah, a little bit.
That's because I think I'm very sensitive to coriander, as Clark knows.
Yeah.
Apparently, they first brewed this in 2011, so it's been around
Sounds
for a
about
while. And then last year they took it up with Manny's.
Yeah, because this is the second year they've done it with Manny's.
Yeah.
So I think they've scaled back maybe the intensity of everything.
I'm wondering if like making it a collab with Manny's is what
Yeah.
scaled it.
I mean,
Well-
I could certainly eat this with a pastrami sandwich from
100%. The
Manny's.
aftertaste in my mouth.
You guys want to go get some pastrami
Hey,
sandwiches?
Yes.
Clark, when's the next time we go into a Hawks game? I'll sneak one of these in. We'll get those sandwiches.
Good question.
Is there a Manny's deli at the Hawks game?
No, but
Or at the
there's
Hawks
There's a
United Center.
Carver station that serves huge
the
portions.
best sandwich that you could probably
Best bang
get
for your
at
buck
that
if you're going to
center.
spend $18 or whatever.
I wish
it
I
is.
would have known that when I was there the other day.
Oh, damn.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You were there. Buck, and you were in the right section to be there.
Oops.
Sorry. Anyways, overall, what do you guys think? Good?
Yeah.
Super solid.
It's a good beer.
Fun.
It's funny though because I was kind of expecting like the liquid pastrami thing because that's I think what I've heard in the past.
Yeah, that's what I've gotten from
It's very much it's got the flavors of pastrami without like the richness of like pastrami.
it's more. It tastes more like a beer. Though.
I would like it to have a little more body. I feel like that would complement the beer better. A little more malt backbone. But everything else is like super well balanced. There's that slight smokiness, and then I'm getting all those little hints of spice. Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, it's good. I'll tell you this. I know what I want for lunch today. It's
No
pastrami.
kidding.
Seriously,
Dan, you know that feeling, right?
Yeah.
Number 4.
when you really want a pastrami sandwich,
I think that the Chicago Diner does they do at least something like that. For,
like a vegan. Or,
yeah, like a seitan, something like
Hail
that.
Satan. That sounds good. My number 4.
Satan on rye.
This goes back to Beer Under Glass. Brandon, you and I went there. This is do you remember that?
Bug.
That's so long ago. This beer was one that stood out to me, I think, the most from the fest, and I know I've talked about it on here. It's from Tangled Roots. It's their bourbon barrel-aged Black Forest bedtime story lager. It is a black lager that is barrel-aged, and I know I've talked about it before, so I won't get too much into it, but it's a nice, light, I think it's only like 5% too, or 6%. It's a nice, light drinking, dark lager that gives me everything that I want from a barrel-aged beer without having to drink a big, heavy barrel-aged beer. So it had a nice, like, barrel and bourbon flavor to it, but also still, like, a refreshing, if you think dark lagers are refreshing like I do.
Yeah, they can't.
That's actually what you wrote back in May. You said a refreshing barrel-aged beer. Really good.
There we go. Nice. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. So this one was really close to being like one of my top 2 beers because I was just so impressed with. I mean, a barrel-aged lager itself is just kind of crazy.
Was it like a Schwartz beer? Sorry, I didn't have it.
It's not smoky,
Okay.
but it's like Schwartz beer is normally smoky, isn't it? No,
I don't think so.
Might
Just like
I'm
roasty.
confusing with something else.
It's like a
Sorry.
really light.
You're right. I'm sorry. Not smoky. Yes. Yeah. Then it is. It is. It's much like a Schwartz beer. I don't know why. I remember the first time I won't get into it, but I've confused smoky with Schwarzbier. Maybe just because of the letter S.
Rauchbier?
Rauchbier?
Yeah.
Could be that. But yeah, Schwarzbier's dark lager because our friend Patty from
Who I met.
Yes, who you finally met, Pride Roasters. She made a fantastic one last year for the Lake Effect Jeff Park
Wait,
Forward.
Dan, you met her?
She was at
Homebrew contest.
Eris for the Christmas trolley in the like little holiday pop-up shops.
Oh, okay.
There.
Got to have her back this year.
And I was like, I know this
Brew beer
brand
with
from
her.
somewhere. And I was like, did you ever do anything with the brewery? And she was like, no. And then I looked
Did you ever do anything with a podcast?
I looked on Instagram and I saw at Pride Roasters and I saw that like Tony was following it or something. And I was like, do you know Tony?
following,
Tony follows along.
And then it hit me.
People.
thing.
It clicked that she was the homebrew.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah.
Glad I can provide that for you.
Yeah.
Clicked.
Clark, what's your...
Coming at a number 4, another brewery from far, far away on Kedzie Avenue.
Keeping it hyper local.
Hey, don't worry. We
I
start to like venture out. 2022 VSOR.
Ooh.
And I am not a huge rye barrel aged guy, but man, oh man, this one was super good.
No.
Super good. And that's all I have to say about it.
All right, good. Did I get a VSOR with you?
I
I think so.
don't know if you did or not, but you did have one.
What did I say?
You got it at the tap room. It looks like on your birthday.
Really?
You said this is pretty fantastic.
Oh, that makes sense. That sounds good.
And apparently I drank it on a really hot day in May because I had a picture of it with my son's penguin, and it says it's too hot for a penguin, but not for VSOR.
I do remember it being very good.
I was quickly just like scrolling through my phone looking for pictures of beer, and then I found this. I'm like, I'm gonna update the website. And this is gonna be
Yes. Fantastic. That is good. You know what? Actually, I would like to use that for the... I'm going to put... You know what? Send that to me. Because I would like to make that the episode picture. The Malteez. 2022.
Speaking of, so that photo was at GABF. And speaking of GABF,
Oh, look at this.
That's
my
transition.
my number 4.
You're welcome, by the way. I'm glad you got to come with us.
Yes,
You're
thank you.
You know,
Thank you.
You're
I say,
you're
should
all
we?
welcome.
I was gonna say, I say you're welcome. Like I had anything to do with you.
Should we reveal that I was going to go? And I said, no, Danny should go instead.
Shut up! Don't tell
I
me.
really appreciate his help on the podcast, quote unquote.
Help.
Next year we're gonna road trip it,
Yeah, were you quote unquoting podcast or were you
We
quote
want you to
unquoting
come
no?
or we'll take a train.
Let's rent an RV.
Ooh.
This is getting out of hand. Number 4.
So number 4, and this is the last on my top 5 from GABF. But Monday
spoiler
night,
alert.
yeah. So well, there's a bunch of other beers we've had.
I know where you're going with this.
Monday Night Brewing,
Yeah.
Imaginary Grace, which this is one that Beer Goggles told us that we needed to try, and we immediately like rushed over there to try it. And they were sold out because they were doing bottle pours of it.
Yeah.
And I've got to pull it up on Untappd to remember what it exactly was. But it was their spontaneously...
Fermented.
Yeah.
We ended
But anyway,
up-
so we went the next
let's
day.
say, yeah.
That was like the first spot we hit the
That
next
is.
day.
While Brandon was doing the time lapse, I
Yeah.
think Dan,
We grabbed, like,
you
3
and I
pours
went
of
over-
it.
Yeah, and actually, if you watch Brandon's time lapse, you can see me walking
Carrying
through the
that
crowd.
beer.
I am carrying that beer. Yeah.
So it says a blend of 3 seasons. So it's a goose also. Wait, my 5 and 4 are both gooses. Weird.
Wow, dude.
100% spontaneously fermented beer after inoculating in our cool ship dubbed the Crunk Ship. They're from Atlanta, so they're all about that.
Crunk,
Peace up,
got it, yeah.
A-Town down.
Got it. Yeah, we all got it.
Yeah. Aged in vintage neutral wine barrels. And then blended it together. Boom. But
It was a good beer.
Very good beer.
Brandon, you got to try it, but I think
You were a little distracted when you
still
were
doing
trying
those
it.
time lapse.
No, but so like my list of beers from there, I had their
The
Monday
stout
Night
was
Brewing's
good.
Welcome to the Machine. And I just looked it up just to make sure because I was like, I think it was a double Northeastern IPA,
Ah.
and I liked it.
I don't know if I had that one.
Not on my list.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
on my list of beers.
I mean, honestly, depending on how next year goes, I might need to just make separate lists of like what were my,
JBF
what were my
list,
top beers from festivals and what were my top beers that we.
That's
just
not what the
drank.
Maltese is.
Well, we might change it next
Top
year.
beers.
I will rewrite your.
That's in
fucking
the contract. You can't change it.
For you.
Yeah.
For us, we're
No,
fine.
as the show.
Oh, okay, fine. Brandon, what's your number 4?
My number 4 is from far away. It actually is from far away. It is from Hawaii. It's from Big Island Brew House. It was their Dark Sabbath, their Belgian dark ale.
There it is, a Belgian beer, man.
Yep.
I'm glad I made it on the list for you.
I really enjoyed that one. I am upset that I didn't bring any of that back home.
So am I.
It was a super good beer. But I think we're possibly going to Hawaii again this year, this coming year. So I will definitely make sure to keep room in my suitcase for that.
I still have that bottle of wine you guys gave me that maybe I need to open up around Christmas. The Volcano Winery or something. I don't know what it is.
Was it? So Becca was at your house not that long ago, and they were drinking wine or whatever, and Laura pulled that out, and she's like, "Who brought this? Where's this from?" And was like making fun of it.
Hey.
And Becca was like, I think we gave that to you as a gift from Hawaii. And she was like, oh.
Yeah. Way to go, Laura. Way to...
You're fired, Laura.
Awkward. I hope Becca gave her a real hard time about it for the rest of the night, too. Just hey...
Well, I know they both listen to the show. And they're gonna hear
Totally.
this.
They're both avid listeners. Oh, man. Well, with that being said, we've broken through the top two or the bottom two beers and had two beers. It's a perfect time to take a quick little break and try and cram it all in at the end. Here we go.
I do have a song. There's this lo-fi song.
And we're back.
It's the Maltese Mystery Hour.
La 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 la.
We can't pay for this.
We're not paying for this.
Take
Can't pay for this.
Doddly-dee.
It's they sample a line of "You're what the French call les incompetents."
Oh, yeah.
And then it goes into the song. Anyways, go on.
If anybody needs to sue anybody, his name is Dan. You can reach him at hip__hops. For that licensing, we don't have access to. All right, Brandon.
Cool, he's an attorney.
That's right. Brandon, you poured something? Whoa. I know it. I saw the bottle. I don't know the name of the beer. I know where it's from, though. I saw you pull it out. Classic Maltese shenanigans, you know?
What do you got, Danny?
What do you think, Danny boy?
I feel like I'm getting. So I'm only taking one sip. I'm trying to It's definitely a sour. It's not quite like a Flanders, but it's darker like that.
Stupid, sexy Flanders.
Mm-hmm. So it's on the edge of a Flanders. Could you kind of get some of that? Maybe some peach. I'm trying to figure out what fruit I'm getting. 'Cause I definitely think there's a fruit in there, unless it's just coming from the
Apricot?
east.
Apricot.
Apricot, pecan.
Cool whip.
This is not my...
I feel like I've had this
forte.
before. It tastes familiar.
This is not a Clark beer for sure.
It tastes familiar to
But
me.
I do agree with that. My first sip, I'm like, why do I know this?
I don't have any guesses of what it is.
I have no
It
business.
is Russian River.
Oh!
Supplication.
It's the Pinot Noir I was getting.
Yep. So it's an ale aged in Pinot Noir barrels with cherries added and re-fermented in the bottle. And this is from 2016.
Yeah.
It is fantastic.
Where and how did you pick this up back then?
I was at Russian River.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was either at the brewery or there's in San Francisco. There's a bottle shop that I used to go to all the time because I was literally there every week for quite a while. And they always had Pliny the Elder, Blind Pig, and then
Blind
all
Pig.
of the supplication and all the other stuff there too. So
Gotta get that pig beer back over here, man. We had that in an episode where we just drink it together.
I think we drink it together.
That was very good. I think it's almost as good as Blind
Wait,
Pig.
were you there March 31st, 2016?
Probably.
Because I was there March 21st, 2016.
Well, cool. Were you guys hanging out and you didn't know it?
Maybe.
Cool. All right. Yeah. Good choice there. Moving on. So,
Jeez.
Very good.
Trying to make
I'm
small
mad I was
talk.
drinking it so fast. I was like swishing it around.
Well, the thing is, a beer like this. By the way, thank you, Brandon, for sharing this with us. I know that you've actually held on to this for a while.
It was at Dan's house for a while too.
It was. A beer like this is dangerous for me because it is a beer that, like you said, you're sad you drink it so fast. I could sit there and just like keep taking sip after sip after sip and drinking, like, oh, done. I'd like another one, and you don't have another one.
Yeah, no, it's really good, like barrel character, and then maybe it's the cherry. I'm like, I don't know if like over time the cherry and the Pinot Noir, but I'm definitely getting like that red wine.
Yeah, definitely a red wine barrel. Mm-hmm. The tannin.
It's not too sour. It's sour on the. It's like sour on the tongue,
it's a
but not
tartness,
sour down the throat. If that makes sense.
Because when I was there, I had
live my life.
consecration, and I think that's why this tasted familiar, because it's from Russian River, even though that was 6 years ago.
That makes sense.
It's my beer genius.
Hey, that's what it says on his
There's more in there,
business
too.
card.
Oh, no,
Beer
I see
genius. Hey, before we
775.
get to our number threes, this is the time of the episode where I normally do a couple of stats.
A rant? Oh, never mind.
No, I haven't done rants.
Stats.
I haven't done rants in a while. This is all based off of what information, statistics we get from SoundCloud. Now, SoundCloud does import some other information, but I'm not sure. Like, I don't know how many streams we get on Apple. I don't know how many streams we get on Spotify. I don't have access to that. Some day, some way, we'll figure that out.
We don't give that to you on the end of your year wrap up or whatever?
No.
I know they give you your top countries.
Spotify, they give us our top. See, that's the thing. So some of that stuff's different than like the top episode on Spotify was the Dry Hop 9th anniversary. According to SoundCloud, that was not our top streamed episode on SoundCloud. Now, SoundCloud also gets our RSS feed and, through our website and to some streaming platform or podcast streaming platforms that use our direct feed, but they don't have their own like Spotify or Apple Podcasts.
So they just, and you might have already said this, but we don't know if Spotify imports into these statistics. Or
Correct.
We do know?
Well, it does not. It is not in there because, like I said, the Spotify #1 episode was the Dry Hop 9th anniversary. It is not for this. So I'm going to give you the top 5 episodes based on SoundCloud, and for fun, I'm going to give you guys the top 5 countries first of who listened to us this year. Coming in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm gonna United States is #1, so I'm gonna exclude that. We have the most listens.
Weird.
There.
The big reveal.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the other ones behind us would be number 5, Germany. Thank you, Germany. Actually, Germany, I see a lot listening to us, so thank you.
They like beer.
The Dominican Republic.
I'll be there.
Oh, look. Well, bring some stickers and some cards, maybe some coasters. Number 3, Ireland. Ireland's still listening to us. Thank you,
also like
Ireland.
beer.
We appreciate it. Number 2, Australia.
Whoa.
I don't know if we've ever had. I think this is a new year for having Australia involved, making a top one. And number 1, right behind the United States, which still blows my mind, is Belgium. I mean, we're beer centric.
I'm going to be there next summer for a day and a half. I'll stop by and say hi to all the fans.
Please do.
Pick
Where are you
up
going?
Meet and greet.
going to Brussels. Well, we're doing a little Europe trip, so Amsterdam, Brussels, Paris.
We
London.
are?
Yeah, I didn't know we were all doing this. This is awesome.
I love Paris, and I have a suggestion for a bar there. If you,
I
don't know if
love
it's still open.
suggestions.
Yes.
Clark doesn't drink.
Take it off, Mike.
Yeah.
Take it off.
Rarely.
Here we go. The top 5 episodes of 2022, according to SoundCloud. And the funny thing is, they're all in the 70s.
What's that mean? Like listens?
Like, no, the episode.
Oh.
Like
They were
episode
recorded
number.
in the 70s?
Yeah, 1970. Number 5 is episode 75, which is Alarmist Brewing. A bunch of cunts over there.
I wasn't there.
Dan, that was like your first episode.
My first officially on the show.
Yeah. That was good. Number 4 would be episode 79, Dry Hop, Corridor, and Crushed by Giants with Joe Steigerwald. By the way, if anybody didn't catch the reference, what I just said about the Alarmists. About,
I got it.
People listening,
the
Dan, I know you
listeners.
fucking got it. Jesus Christ.
Now, was that the anniversary one, or was that
No, that was just Joe coming over here.
Oh, right. I wasn't at
for
that
the
one
beers.
either.
Yeah. Oh, it's funny. A lot of these ones.
Usually the highest ones do not include me. Just going back to
Well, this is the
historical
lowest.
stats.
These are the lowest of the high ones. But
I know. I'm just saying.
just so you know, you are on the highest one. Episode 77 was number 3, which was St. Patrick's Day 2022, which is a very high streamed episode. Which is very,
What
I
did
think
we
it's
drink on that one? Was I there?
We had the mint
the Mint
Guinness. We had Becca's Cupcakes.
I think Becca's Cupcakes is what sold it. Oh yeah, you were there because we also had shit.
I'm trying to remember. We did not eat shit.
No, we did not have shit. There was another local. Did we have Beguile's?
Dicey Riley.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sagatuck Brewing.
Yes.
Their Irish Ale and Hubbard's Caves Irish Stout.
There we go. Yes, you were on that one.
I got to start this show
I was too,
database.
I think. Right?
I think you.
I
were.
think I remember the cupcakes.
Yeah, the cupcakes.
It's like
were,
the only thing
yeah.
I remember.
Fantastic
from that
episode. Fantastic cupcake. Episode 76. You guys see the theme there? 75, 79, 77, 76. Episode 76 was the number 2 episode streamed. Tampa Bay Beers.
Boom.
I wasn't there either.
I'm noticing a theme.
Yeah,
Like
you weren't
as soon as I started.
Yeah. It sounds
They're
like a lot of
all-
people started jumping on. They're like, "Oh, did you just press play a lot on SoundCloud?" And like,
I may have left it on while I was.
on the radio.
I may have left it on while I was sleeping. But
I make my children listen to my voice.
Listen, children, Daddy's on the radio. And the number 1 episode on SoundCloud was episode 72, which is the first episode that we streamed from 2022, which is our first time visiting our friends at Old Irving. The Old Irving episode. Which
I
a lot
was
of fun.
there.
Yeah, see, you were there.
I was
did it.
not.
Exactly. See,
We actually
Man.
recorded that in December of
I know. That's right. Yeah, we
2021.
recorded
Secrets
in
of the
December,
show
and then I think it was
revealed.
released in the beginning of January.
Yeah.
So that was our
That because we did that the day after we recorded the Malteez last year,
Yes.
and we recorded the Malteez after going to Revolution for like 2 hours.
and then coming here and then drinking
Continuing.
a lot, and then Brad and I, we had a burrito from Earl's.
Yeah, you guys kept going.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, I
The
do
next
have,
day off.
just want to say like how appreciative I am of like how like that relationship we've grown with Old Irving
Yeah.
and Matt, and like
All those guys
they're
are
like
great.
super generous with us every time we run into them.
Same thing with Joe over there at Dry
Yeah,
Hop
yeah.
and Corridor.
it's
Crush
cool
by
how
Giants.
cool they think we are.
Yeah, well, it's cool how cool we know they are.
Yeah.
See what I did?
Yeah,
there?
more
That's
so
true.
that.
Yeah, more so that. But yeah, great people, and it has become a lot of fun. It's become a great relationship, and we've had a great time with everybody. Dan and Brandon are choosing our next beer, and while they do that, Clark,
Reveal number 3.
yeah, reveal your number 3.
Number 3 is a beer we drank on this show.
Oh boy.
Coming from Michigan,
Uh-oh. It's a short beer. It's got to be a short
Arclight
Oh.
Mango Sour Smith.
Hey-o.
That was a good one.
Great choice.
I think we drank that with Joe from
Yes.
Percolator.
Oh,
Yeah, we did.
Too many jokes.
Shit, man. I forgot all about that.
That
beer.
was a surprise to me. I remember it
Is that
being.
enough to Final Four?
It
Yeah,
was,
and
yes,
I don't think I
yes.
checked it in, which is why.
Oh yeah, because we were doing Oktoberfest beers again.
Yeah.
Man, I remember that being sweet, just sour. It wasn't overly sour too, which was great. And,
I have a
and that mango
question.
came through.
Off my, actually, yeah.
You can ask it on, Mike.
Is ArcLight closing?
I've read or heard about that. I don't know where.
I think I saw it online, possibly.
Yeah.
I hope that's not the case, and if it is the
Oh, it
case...
is.
Yeah, it
we
is,
heard
right?
we heard that somewhere because it's like
Yeah, we talked
the dude
about
lives
it.
in Chicago and he's kind of sick of going over there. or
That's
something.
right. That's right. I need to ask my cousin. He's actually friends with him.
Well, if that's the case, we need to get up there. Clark, I'm sure you're going up to Michigan sometime soon.
Most likely.
Okay, I'm going to need you to check out ArcLight before that. Good choice, though. I totally...
Most likely, you mean right after the show?
Yeah, he's actually leaving.
Yeah,
He's
I'll
off
do
this
it.
whole week.
Why not?
I totally forgot about that beer. Thank you for reminding me about it, because that was a really, really tasty beer, and I'm now upset that it's not on my list.
That's okay. We have variety on the show.
Yeah, that one had like good like warmth to it too, like in like a warming, like cinnamon kind of wood.
Cinnamon.
All right, so do you want me to go next, Tony?
Sure,
All
yeah, go
right.
ahead.
All right. So my number, I got to go back to it here. Number 3. I think we had it on the show because I think I brought it.
Oh, fuck. I thought you already had it, because Dan... You know what, Dan? You gotta let me know this.
it to me. He was watching his drink.
I was like, that's nice of you to leave me half
It's
a
like the
bottle.
third time just having on the show where I don't give it to Brandon. Give it to Brandon first.
All right, so let me go ahead and read what we got here.
Then after that, Brandon's gonna reveal his number 3.
Okay, that's fine. So, Barclay Brewing, Dimensions of Time, number 9. So this is Barrel Aged Imperial Stout, 15% alcohol, and this one is their These beers are set between 13 to 20 months in a variety of barrels. For this blend, we have apple brandy barrels, Woodford Rye, Stag Junior. Each variant of DOT is meant to inspire thoughtfulness to the complexity and nuance or dimensions of the beer. Enjoy with friends, which I can say I am.
Well, thank you,
What?
Danny.
Thanks, Dan.
What year is this?
I think
It's
it might have been a
2023.
year ago.
Did you bring a beer
Like
from
this?
them a
Yes.
few,
I
like a
did.
month or so ago?
When Nick and Shalonda were here.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
I remember. it
You
was
guys
up.
might have heard that on the last after the final pour.
That's right.
Not true.
It was
that was during
part
the
of the
episode.
episode,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's right. Last after the final
So
pour was a different.
that
beer.
was their kind of like. So all of their beers are barrel aged. That one that I brought that time was like they're straight up just
It was really good.
barrels.
Yeah.
This one is
This
like
is
the
nice.
apple brandy version, basically.
This I was expecting to be a lot heavier. From as I was pouring it, pouring it for Clark, he and I were both kind of like, ooh,
It's super dark.
yeah, it is like motor oil.
Yeah.
And what was funny is when I took a sip, I didn't know the apple brandy thing, but I was like, I got like a brandy punch, like. in a
I'm
good
still
way.
looking for that. That's like.
Yeah, it doesn't come through like say the apple brandy rye or whatever that was that Rev
Yeah.
did. That came through like a punch of apple
That
brandy.
was yeah. Do you still
Yeah,
have
and
any of
I'm-
those? Apple brandy right one? Yeah.
And I'm not saying, and I'm not saying like it didn't taste like brandy, but that barrel aged, that the barrel agedness that I noticed from like apple brandy rye, like that kind of punch came through.
That I see what you're saying. I actually had to not look for it, but right now I didn't when I took I forgot this was an apple brandy beer because you told us about it. The first sip I had, I was like, huh, I don't know what I'm tasting here. Then I just kind of like took another sip and I kind of switched it around, and I got like that. Not
I feel like I'm getting fruit, but it's not like
Jolly
distinguishable.
Rancher apple, not like a green apple. I don't want to throw off, but like a candy, like apple candy, not candied apple, but like apple candy type flavor, deep underneath.
Feel that sit in your mouth.
Yeah, underneath the roastiness and chocolate, a little bit of vanilla. There is like that. Yeah, if you let it sit in your mouth, there is like a apple candy type flavor that I think you can't associate with like apple brandy, because that comes off as like apple candy or green apple. Like that apple brandy rye is so fucking good. Like that is one of their. To me, like it's not like I don't think everybody would enjoy it, but for what you get out of it and the experience you have, I don't think you can drink it all the time. That's one of the coolest
That's one of my favorite beers.
barrel
I've
aged
ever
beers
made.
they've
Yeah.
made. Yeah, it's fantastic. I think Benjamin would agree. I can hear him.
Sounds like he's going to the bathroom.
What I like about this is that not that there's a ton of extra stuff in it, so to speak, but it all just seems very natural and like real ingredients, real barrels, real malt. It's just like they spent some money actually acquiring ingredients that weren't cheap.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. We all
There's
kind
some,
of glazed
you're
over
tasting
while
some
you were talking, but
authenticity.
Yeah, we know what you mean.
Authenticity, I like that.
No,
Like
it's
real
good.
chocolate.
It's
Like they're not throwing extract or any whatever. Not that there
Well, I
would
don't
be
think-
extract in this, but
Yeah, there's not any chocolate in this either. Like
No.
that's all from the roast. It's just barrel and beer.
which I really like.
Solid base stout.
Solid.
So,
Brandon, what's your number 3?
Coming in at number 3 is Green Bench Brewing's Hilda's Guiding Bolt.
Okay, take it easy. From the Tampa Bay show, which was number 2 on our SoundCloud streams.
Oh, also, fun fact, I just looked up the Spotify. Our top 3 countries in Spotify, number 3 was Japan.
Hey!
Number 2 is Mexico.
Hola!
And number 1 is United States.
Hello.
What up? Yeah, they don't say hey in Japan for hello, just so you guys know. I don't know, man. I don't speak Japanese, but to our Japanese friends,
Konnichiwa?
Hello.
I think so.
all right. Clark,
Google it.
Clark, can you look that up?
Alexa.
Konnichiwa. Yes.
Konnichiwa. Kanpai. Here we go. Drinking more of the beer.
こんにちは。
Very nice. Hey!
And we just lost all of our Japanese.
That's the last streams we ever get from Japan.
That
how
one
do you
dude
say
that's sitting there listening is like,
How do you say sorry in Japanese?
Are we gonna?
I thought maybe you had it loaded still.
Yeah, I do. Oh boy. Oh geez. Oh boy. Oh. How do you apologize in Japan?
Yeah. I want to keep these.
We're having problems with the machine here.
All right, that's all right. Brandon, why did you choose that beer for your number 3?
Because I liked it.
Okay, good choice. Dan,
Keeping it simple.
what's your? What?
Gourmet.
Gourmet.
Okay, come on, Brandon.
Amen.
Thank you.
All right. So, like I was saying earlier, this is a beer. I think we for sure had this on the show. I think I brought it to the show, but I don't remember if it was an After the Final Pour or a regular show. It is Moore's Mendy Special Reserve.
Yes, that
And
was
That was
after the final pour.
Yeah, I
I
think
don't
so.
remember.
Yeah,
but
'cause I think
we
it's-
had it.
We have a single shot of it, I believe.
Yeah,
I
that
can
was.
look, but that was
really good.
Yeah.
That was like the. If I'm not mistaken, I feel like we said something along the lines of like perfect barrel aged stout. Something
yeah,
like that.
and it is just here it is. Actually, it's part of our some beers touchdown. Oh, this is the football.
Oh, the football. Oh, yeah.
This is
Clark, you weren't here for that one.
Wasn't there?
yeah.
Perfect.
So
I remember where I was listening though.
yeah, it's just this barrel aged
Japan?
imperial stout. I don't remember if it's like multiple years or something. I should have had this
and that's
all
like
loaded.
because they don't. Most of their stuff now they don't do in the bombers, right? Like
Correct.
they
Yeah.
typically can a lot of their stuff now.
And this was Mendy Special Reserve Series is a way for us to showcase our double mash imperial stout aged in some of our favorite spirit barrels. Batch number 2 is aged in Old Rip Van Winkle 10-year for 16 months. So yeah, and that one I remember we like got like serious like brownie batter and like
Yeah.
barrel, and it was so good. And I'm not a huge, as my first 2 picks have been like the gooses, like I'm more leaning that way. But that beer like blew my mind for what it is, and Tony is drooling.
I like beer.
I was just thinking about that.
I do remember my first beer. But yeah, no, I love that beer. And more, a lot of their stuff. I mean, to be completely honest, a lot of stuff kind of misses for me because it's a little too sweet. But that beer was really, really good.
Yeah, it was really tasty. I'm glad you, man. It's nice hearing what you guys have because I always forget. Clark, do we already do your number 3? I don't remember.
We did ArcLight.
Outstanding.
Yes.
My number 3. What the hell was it? It is my one and only entry from GABF. And it was really close to maybe having this up towards the top because much like the Moore beer you were talking about, I really enjoyed this and you brought me over there. Kane Brewing's A Night to End All Dawns Barrel Aged Stout. It was barrel aged, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can remember. All I remember is being a really good chocolate vanilla beer, like stout, and that being probably my favorite beer of GABF.
You know what else I remember from that beer? That was when we turned around and realized that Brandon disappeared.
Ah, yes, he was gone.
He followed the Scottish bagpipe player.
Oh yeah.
Who wouldn't?
That's how we got our intro for part 1 of the GABF 2022 recap. I was walking around with the Tascam. But yeah, that was...
That beer crossed my mind.
It
didn't
was
make
really
list.
good, and I remember when I had it there, I knew that it would make my top 5 list for the Malteez this year. So, pretty happy with that.
Yeah,
It's
out of
very
New
tasty.
Jersey, Kane Brewing.
Correct. Yeah, so it was good. I'd like to have it again. It was very reminiscent of what did we have? What is the Fellowship Azul? Wildworks?
Modern Times.
Modern Times. Wildworks also was.
That's a killer beer.
They had some killer beers that I just felt it was unfair for me to include them on this list because they were really fucking good. Like if I was really gonna go with like
It would all be
100%. Honestly, it would have been like I couldn't like if I'm going.
Wait till you
like,
hear what I got coming up.
if I lean heavy on like adjuncted barrel aged beers, that Wildworks would have
They
would take it.
They knock like
Yep.
adjuncts out of the park. every
They
time.
are. I would say I'll do this maybe for next year too. Remember when we did King Henry and we said that's not on our list. Like we couldn't put it on our list because it would just
Transcend
win.
is too.
Like
Yeah.
it's just on there. It's on there. It is it's one of the favorite beers that we had. That's how I felt about Wildworks beers that I had at GABF overall.
We probably be able to talk about this later in Brandon's list as he's hinting, but I would
I
say
miss my King Henry.
R.I.P.
there's breweries that do adjunct stouts and it's like you get it, but it's like too much. And there's a lot of local ones that do that, but I'm not gonna say them on mic. But no, the
Microphone.
they WeldWorks, like you can get it, like you totally get what they're saying is on the bottle, but it's not like too sweet or too overpowering or whatever. It's just so balanced and well done.
It's really tasty. Yeah, I would put them up there as like my overall, like if I had to judge or place a brewery, that's it. I don't know if I'm gonna edit that out. All right, let's move on to our number 2. I'm Casey.
Number 2.
Oh, who's that?
We should have been doing sounds for each number. Sorry.
We will next year. Got it.
I started at number 2.
All right, number 2. Dan,
Oh snap!
we'll go with you for your
All right. So
number 2.
number 2 is, I don't think Clark was here for this one either, but it is from the Door County show, Sway Brewing and Blending, Lovely Strawberries.
Ah, yes.
And that beer,
That wasn't a lager, was it?
no, it's a saison with Brettanomyces and
Yes.
strawberries.
That was
And
tasty.
It kind of blew my mind how well and how like natural and fresh the strawberries came through in that beer. And I actually, so I opened that one with you guys pretty relatively new. I had it again this past like a week ago or so maybe, and the Brett was much more present on it than the first time we had
So you
it.
lost some of the strawberry or just...
The strawberry wasn't as dominant. You kind of had to like seek it. So I'm really glad I opened that early.
Yeah.
But that beer sort of, and I remember Brandon was like talking, and I like took a sip of it first time, and I was like, "What the fuck?" And Tony was like,
I think I
"Dan's
just
lost his
said
mind."
Dan's,
yeah, or whatever.
Dan's
Yeah.
lost his mind.
But that beer blew me away.
Good choice. It was a good one. I do remember that. Clark.
My number 2. It's a repeat brewery on my list.
Uh-oh.
Almost made number 1.
Older ring.
Older ring.
Correct.
Beezer too?
Ah,
Beezer.
Triple Beezer.
Incorrect.
Ooh.
Krampus in the Buff.
Yay!
So that I think was my second. I was about to say first, as I held up 2 fingers. For those of you not here,
That's my first.
the second beer I had at Fobab, and immediately I'm like, "Oh my god, this is delicious!" And I think Tim came up. We started talking
Yep.
about it, and then I went back to get another one, and then they released it. I had some more, and then I had another one last week, and it's still delicious.
I still have one more left.
It's
I'm
just
very
so
excited.
good.
Yeah.
It's sweet as Krampus is, but not overly sweet. But then all the barrels blended, it just
That was
yeah.
also very close to making my list, but again, I couldn't bring myself to have I didn't want to have too many barrel aged beers, like, so that's why I chose the Tangled Roots one as a barrel aged beer that I wanted up there, like, and then the Cane Brewing as well. But I could have easily just done what were my top 5 barrel aged beers. That would be number 1 on it. So
That's for sure.
it is fantastic. I did the same thing. Brain, I think didn't you have 2 pours of it too?
Oh, yeah.
At Fobab, yeah, we all had 2. I may have had a third.
I may have had
pour.
3.
I
yeah.
should have if I didn't.
Yeah,
I think we're gonna end up doing a little honorable mention.
yeah.
a little bit,
Right
but
before we do number 1,
Yeah,
we'll
we
go
can-
for our
I do want to
trouble.
say though, just to like throw this one out there because I have a lot of honorable mentions, but the Chumbarado. I think in the Buff was my number 2 that
really
night.
Chaparrado from
Chumbarado was number 1 because the
That-
chili pepper came through so good. But anyways.
yeah, and not like I'm burning your
Yeah.
mouth.
Speaking of, I had last year's Champorado yesterday. I made chili with it too.
Oh, nice.
So I had
yeah.
some of the leftover. So good.
Still
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Brandon, what is your
Good pick, Clark.
number 2?
So number 2, I'm kind of cheating on this.
Cheater,
but
cheater.
I am including all of the WeldWorks Media Noches that I kind of had
That's not cheating. That's good.
because I felt like they were all really good, and we already just talked about them like at length. But I did not have a bad beer from them.
No.
And that Media Noche is just it's awesome.
Yeah,
I like it.
really solid beers, and it's no surprise that they ran out of their beers like both days, I think.
And I just want to say, they were on a corner and they had like, I don't even know, like 4 or 5, 6 people pouring beers.
Yeah.
And they still consistently had a line at like each of the pours.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the other breweries, like Russian River, had a line constantly, but it was only like 2 people
There was
pouring.
only at one point where they didn't have, and it was towards like, I don't know what was, maybe something was being released at another area. But when Brandon and I were waiting
Utopias?
for me to do, it could be. When Brandon and I were waiting to do karaoke, WellWorks wasn't too far from there. So we went over there and had like 2 or 3 pours.
That's also where we found the free frozen yogurt ice cream bars.
Yeah, it's delicious. Good choice. That's not cheating. That's a good lump in there. My number 2 beer is from a local brewery just down the street.
Clarkowski Brewhouse.
Rumpkin. No. It is from Old Irving. It's the first time they're making it on my list.
I know which one this is.
Really, which one is it?
Oni.
Oh, no. You're so right. It is Oni. Oni was very close to being my number 1 beer, but I think we know what my number 1 beer is. Oni has become one of my favorite beers, if not my favorite beer from Old Irving. Right there with what is I just tried it I was texting you asking you if you had it. What was the pale ale that they Refract?
Oh, Refract.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Those 2 beers, and I was texting with Matt about this. Like those 2 beers in particular from Old Irving are really refreshing, easy to drink. They're not high in ABV. There's a nice hoppiness to them. And Oni being a dry hopped lager, it's even cooler because you get a lot of hop aroma, but not hop bitterness because it's a lager. So I feel like that's a real fun way to play with lagers, and the artwork is super cool on there as well.
I remember sitting in the way back of the room where Clark's at now and seeing you like lock eyes with Trevor and fanboy over Oni. That's the only reason
We were about to kiss.
Yeah.
That and also 9 Inch Nails Fragile. We almost kissed over that too.
I had an Oni last night. Delicious.
It's fantastic.
2-month-old can, still tasting great.
Yeah, it is. His bread still smells good too. But yeah, Oni is Old Irving's. Oni is my number 2 for this year.
Nice.
Malteez. Now, before we get on to our number 1s, some of us have some honorable mentions that we wanted to mention.
And we also need to go to the next beer, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
We got
Yeah.
one more. And I'm going to let Clark introduce this beer.
Oh, how nice of you.
Why don't you open it up, pour it, and then I'll talk
Yeah.
about it.
Oh, and make sure Brandon gets some of it this time.
Yeah.
You piece of garbage.
But
Oh, thank you, sir. In 2 separate breaths, I called him a piece of garbage and a sir.
he just opened La Tormenta from Cruz Blanca. That is an imperial pineapple ale aged in 4 square Barbados rum barrels with Mexican canela and spices.
Oh, boy.
From this year's Luchador series.
It smells like
I've never had it. Very excited to try it.
pineapples and marshmallow.
Yes.
Like creme brulee almost. I don't know what, or pie.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on. There's a lot,
I'm
in a
getting
good way.
like burnt.
Thank you.
Like a burnt sugar, which kind of goes down the marshmallow route.
and the creme brulee.
Yeah, that's yeah.
So,
It is very reminiscent of like creme brulee. Like,
yeah, right after it's been like torched, like
Yep.
the top of it.
For sure.
But the pineapple,
Really fucking good.
I haven't tasted it yet, but the pineapple smell.
holy shit, that is good.
Number 1, Malteez.
Holy
We're redoing our.
that is good.
This is like graham cracker and.
Whoa.
Oh shit!
The pineapple. Well, I was just say the pineapple smell on it is like when the pineapple gets that like darker yellow.
Yeah.
Like it's like a really
Like
ripe
that pineapple's perfect.
That is fucking tasty, dude. Oh man.
I love it because
My number 1 beer.
I've had some of their luchadors that are way too sweet.
Yes.
I opened something this summer from last year's, and I had like 5 ounces. I just could not handle any more of it. But this, I mean, yeah, sure, that was a
It is
bomber, but
sweet,
I could drink this whole can, no problem.
Yep, I could totally. Do you have more of these, Clark?
Not this one.
I think it's the canela.
I also think that this is still available through Anzer, that you might be
I
able
believe
to grab
they-
this because they have a whole bunch of random like mix things that they have right now.
That is so
available.
good.
I
man.
was there for my work Christmas party on Wednesday. They still had a bunch of bottles and cans up front. Some
Yeah,
from this,
this,
year, some from last year.
You know what? When 2 weeks ago, when I went to Old Irving, they had released a bunch, and I'm sure it's gone now by the time this episode is out. But there was a lot there. I should have grabbed more Krampus in the bottle.
You should have.
Or the no bake peanut butter when I didn't grab any of those.
Yeah.
So on Osner, they have the you can buy the mix 4-pack that has it in it.
Yeah, this is.
It is very good. I mean, I don't think I'd want more than the 3 ounces I have.
We get it, Dan. You're better than us.
No.
Your palate is refined.
No, it would start to get a little.
Would it though?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll get a little taxing.
Well, fuck you guys. I think it's delicious.
No, this is like if you had this, if I had this at like a beer festival, and they, you had that like 2-ounce pour.
Oh yeah,
you'd be like, holy shit.
It's like this is seriously the perfect amount. I could sit and drink it, but it would have to be. I'd want to start with this like I'd want to start it with it like right out of the refrigerator to open it up, pour a little bit so you have when it's like real cold. That as you make your way through it gets like to the perfect temperature. Because sometimes I've done that where I've like, I've kept this beer out for a while and now I can, it's at room temperature or it's like just slightly chilled, but I'm still going to drink it for like an hour. And by the time I get through the full hour, I'm like, this is warm and heavy and not good anymore. That's not how I would do it with this.
This is fun.
Thank you, Clark, for bringing this.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm going to do a quick run through of my honorable mentions.
Yeah.
Here we go. Ready? Oh, number 5 for my...
5 honorable mentions?
I got 5 honorable mentions.
I've got 1.
This guy was making fun of me for 11, and he's got 10.
I didn't make fun of you.
Oh, sorry.
I did not make fun of you.
Yes, he did.
I'll make fun of you.
We'll go back to the tape, you fuck. This is Dan's last episode. Watermark, Uncle Dunkle. The Dunklewise. It was very tasty. Clark and I had that
I was
together.
like, when did you have that? Yeah. Right. I was there.
You were there. It was fantastic. And those ladies wouldn't share the fire with us.
Ooh, what kind of they were talking about it. We would have talked about this on the Michigan episode. That is never going to happen.
Never happened, yeah.
But they wanted a Hefeweizen.
Yeah.
And they were calling it a Hoffenweiser.
Hoffenweiser. My daughter says I should get a Hoffenweiser. They'll never listen to this episode, right?
No.
All right, excellent. My next one would be, it was another recommendation at GABF from Beer Goggles. Blind Tiger Basil Beer.
That was a good one.
It's fantastic. Old Irving, you made it on here with Refract Pale Ale, which I just tried for the first time about a month ago. So you beat out a whole bunch of other beers to get my number 3 honorable mention. Number 2, Revolution's first appearance on my list, which is very rare, which was Coconut Death, which was really, really good. Like, you gotta like coconut to really appreciate that beer, and I do. And
I had that at GABF.
Did you? I had that there too.
Yeah.
I mean, I this was like my second stop after having Pliny. I was like, oh look, there's Thundertaker. Thundertaker and Coconut Death were the honorable mentions.
Thundertaker almost made my list.
Yeah, Thundertaker, like again, another.
It was a little too easy to just throw that on there.
Barrel aged beers, I couldn't just go full on that. But my number 1 honorable mention, which really should have just been on the list, was Maplewood's Fresh Farm IPA, which was a collaboration they did with Jim Belushi and his weed farm, and it was one of the best IPAs I've ever had. It's hard
I don't want to put you on the spot. Is it like a wet hop? Like,
I'm not sure. I have to double check that.
What was the name of it again?
Fresh Farm IPA.
the fresh farm just like makes me think it would be like a
It could
wet
be.
hop.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, there is some cross, thing. I mean, it was with Jim Belushi's Weed Farm.
Farm Fresh?
Farm Fresh, yeah. IPA.
I think you said Fresh Farm.
You did.
I did, sorry. Farm Fresh IPA. I like switching words for you. Was I right about that Odd Sides beer, by the way?
Yes, that was...
Was it 2022 we had
I
that?
lost that.
Sorry.
Yes, I think we actually had it for the Crash Test Dummies concert.
Brandon, we didn't put Odd Side.
Oh, Farm Fresh is
That's your
a,
number 1.
but it's a hazy.
What?
The Odd Side.
What about it?
Is that your number 1? Ooh, I don't know. But
You
it's
don't
not
know?
on my list. Fuck.
Oh, so another cool little thing about that Farm Fresh, it is all the proceeds were donated to Last Prisoner Project, a nonprofit organization dedicated to cannabis criminal justice reform.
There you go. But what does it say about the beer itself now that you've closed it?
oh, sorry,
Because that's what we were looking up, Dan.
Yeah, it wasn't a wet hop. It just says Imperial India Pale Ale brewed with Simcoe Mosaic and neutral hemp-derived terpenes
That's
from the
what it
well-known cannabis strain Cherry Pie.
There we go. That beer
And oats and wheat, sorry. Go on.
was
Sweet potato pie.
was really, really, really like. I got that from Beer on the Wall and just happened to see it, and I was like, "Oh, cool!" Just a regular IPA from them. And then Jim Belushi's face is on there in the can somewhere, and I didn't realize that until I had gotten high and then opened it. No, I'm joking. Until I poured the can, and once I had it, I was truly blown away, and I wish I would have gotten more of it. Yeah, there it is, in a little leaf there. That's his face.
What kind of leaf is that?
That's a weed leaf. It's a marijuana leaf. So that's it. Those are my honorable mentions for 2022. You guys keep making those beers. A lot of locals.
All right. So, my honorable mentions, because I also have a lot, and we'll kind of go
take
from
your
there.
time.
Run through them like I did, baby.
I had already mentioned Old Irving, Chumperado, and these aren't in any order. don't have these in any kind of like.
I had
order.
mine in an order.
I know. That's why I'm specifying
Okay,
mine.
that's fine. Cool.
So yeah, that Chamborado Krampus from Old Irving. I love the way the chili pepper came out through that. All right, so another 3. I have 3 from GABF. I'll throw those 3 together. The Lost Abbey Peach Afternoon.
Yes.
Loved that. The Russian River Intinction Sauv Blanc.
Did not have that.
That was awesome. And the Peculiar Ales 305 Alive Pine Berry, which a pine berry is like a species of strawberry.
Wait, did you tell
I
us
think
to
I
have
made
that?
because Craig from ABV made me try it, and I think I made you try it.
That's not the one that tasted. What's the one that tasted like? That's not the same one.
Oh,
I did. Try that
you're
pine
talking
one.
about the.
I know
yeah,
that
yeah.
that other one was.
That tasted like
holy
naked
cow.
juice.
Yeah, that was intense.
That was from that other Chamborado brewery from Florida.
Work something about
something
working
office something.
office
no
overtime
paper something about paper.
This conversation is
Order.
very interesting.
I don't know. All right, so then I also wanted to throw was so they have Will Be, which is like their house saison, but the Brett version. So they always do it without Brett and then with Brett. The Brett version I love every year, but for some reason like this year, it was really hitting. Like this batch,
hit you in
last
the
batch.
right way.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then from this Kedzie brewery,
Whoa, I'm sorry.
Revolution
Whoa.
Been there.
VSO DM Dark
really?
Mode. I loved that beer. I loved it. Was a little sweet. 'cause
The
it's
double
milk-
barrel one? The
yeah.
one they released a month
This year.
ago?
No. I mean, it was like in the can, like the VSO DM.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a double.
Is it
barrel.
double?
yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Very special old.
Yeah, but I thought that just meant it was aged 2 years.
Oh, I think he's right. I don't know if is it double barrel?
This is the one that they released as.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's double barrel VSODM, I think. Sorry. Hold on.
I thought there was a double barrel one that was just on tap.
That's true. Maybe that's what I'm.
I think you're talking about the.
That is the one you had on tap, the double barrel one. The one that they sold in cans was not double barreled. Jesus.
I don't know anything about double barrels.
Maybe it was. I don't know.
We
But
can
it's
get our-
so
One of
it's
the-
their
one of the-
yeah.
yeah.
It's milk stout, I think.
Yeah, it is a milk stout.
And so it was a little sweet, but the barrel character came through really good on that one. And
I
I just
agree.
love that beer. That's all I got.
VSO dark mode?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Brandon?
Got a couple to treat. I'm gonna go with Wooden Wings from Goose
yes,
Island.
that was
Honorable
good.
mention. And also because it just is so good, their Shamrock Stout.
Yes. Which isn't there still one left?
I think so.
Yikes.
We're supposed to do that for the Christmas episode.
Oh crap! Yeah, I think I have one sitting around somewhere. And then Krampus in the Buff. High Wires 10W40.
Oh
We
yeah,
had that.
that's right. That was really good. That
And-
was surprising because it was just a barrel aged dark ale, right?
Yeah, it was super good. And then Odd Sides, Atmosphere, and Attitude.
There it is.
There it is. That was supposed to be on my list, and I don't know why I never made it on my list.
Honorable mention.
Yeah, but that should be up there. That is one of the craziest, most interesting. We did an episode. Brandon and I recorded talking about it, so people know. Like that is one of the most.
Was that the one with like 15 adjuncts? Or something?
Yeah.
And when we had it like super fresh, like we really could taste.
It was so
Everything.
so. This was my number one like all year long. But then when I thought about it, I had to go with something that I thought was.
It's a good transition. 'Cause
Well,
we're-
no, we got to do Clark's honorable
Fuck his
mention.
honorable mentions, man. Nobody cares about what Clark's.
Well, let's
So
go.
many,
Let's
so
go to
many.
Clark's honorable
Okay,
mentions.
you know what? Let's do this. We'll hear Clark's honorable mention, and then we'll go back to like you
Yeah.
were just finishing.
Yeah, I'll rattle these off quickly. It's not a beer that was brewed or bottled this year, but I drank a Bourbon County Double Barrel from 2021, which I thought was good last year, but I had it on Thanksgiving, and oh man, that was tasting great.
Yeah, it's good. That's the one you got, Dan.
Let's try it.
Then Fobab, which I think I had 2 or 3 times towards the end. So that's kind of surprising that I really loved the beer towards the end after having 20, 30 pours. It was from Wolf's Ridge Brewing, Cabernet finished bourbon barrel Dire Wolf.
Ooh.
Yeah, you guys really like that.
Yeah, you didn't. I mean,
Did not care for it.
again, our palates were kind of
Yeah,
rough,
at
but
that point, I probably would have liked it more.
something came through on that I thought was great.
I
Triple,
have to say real quick before
Yeah,
you
go
go
ahead.
that. So they're from Columbus, Ohio.
Correct.
And I went there and I got their like breakfast Dire Wolf. Ooh. It has like maple and coffee. Ooh. Phenomenal.
yeah, it was
Go
a
on.
cool. I went there a couple of years ago. It had
It's a really like kind of bougie looking.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not your typical,
We'll have to go there next time I go to
wood
Columbus.
paneled, just like
Want to go now?
their neighbors.
Let's go. Bye, guys.
Triple Grid from Hot Butcher.
Welcome to the real malting hour.
A little preview for all you out there. And
Boring.
coming from Short Fuse, their peanut butter cup stout. Had that about a month ago.
Ooh, okay.
It's exactly what you want it to be.
Fantastic.
And that's all I have to say.
Brandon, so
That's all I
outside,
have to say
the outside,
about that.
like you almost thought was going to be it.
Yeah, so
You thought about it all year.
I literally, so I was looking at my favorite beers, and I went with something that was off the beaten path of what I normally enjoy, but fucking loved, and that is Off Color's Craft Gin Week.
Oh man! Wow, great choice.
That was just such a well done beer.
You've mentioned that a couple times.
Yeah,
I've
and
had
it,
on the
like
show.
I don't like I'm not a gin drinker really, but like just everything that was in that beer just played so well together that it was such a fun beer to drink, and I hope they do it again next year because I would love to have it. It was so good.
Is that just a beer aged in gin barrels?
Yeah,
Yeah, it was really, really,
I-
really
I remember, so I didn't have that beer, but I remember having Pony Pills from Half Acre gin barrel aged, and it like blew my mind how good it was. So I mean, I can like, see
yeah,
what
and
you're saying.
it's funny because I think now going back, like looking at it, I think they're like a lot of gin barrel aged stuff I tend to enjoy more than I do like actual gins.
yeah, it has that like nice like fruity kind of character a little bit.
That was a really good beer, and I'm sad I didn't put it on my list either. Let's go.
You gonna
with
do research next year,
I mean-
Tony, or are you just gonna like wing it?
All right. Well, it's
It's
just
a question.
just
I mean,
yeah, probably. sorry. No, Dan and I were talking. I have no idea what you just said.
good.
By the way, your honorable mention list was pretty good. Clark, let's do your number one beer.
number
What is-
one,
what it is.
also a beer we've had on the show. I feel like we had it a bit late. It's a crowler that I picked up from Minnesota, from St. Cloud, a brewery called Pantown. It was the Riveter, a imperial
yeah.
sour flavored with blueberry, lemon, marshmallow, and graham cracker.
Yeah,
yeah.
I totally forgot about that.
I don't think I was on that episode.
You know, there's a
I
lot
don't
of
think
beers
you
that
were.
when we have beers on the show. I don't check.
Well,
them
because
in.
I had it there. That's the only reason I remember it, because
We need to
I
get
drank
better
it
at
there.
that.
I'm like, I got to bring this back for everybody. And it was just so tasty.
That
But
was
everything
really
was.
good.
Yeah, I don't check in a
Wow,
lot of
you're
stuff
number
either.
one, huh?
Yeah.
But like I go back and I try to look at our pictures on Instagram. Like,
Yeah,
what
that's
do
right, I
we
should do that too.
post?
No, it's the one I've thought about the most, and I keep notes for the Malteez throughout the year.
You
Maybe
write
you should
letters
start
to
doing
that
that,
beer?
Tony.
Dear beer.
No, I don't have to.
That's a good choice, though.
Clearly.
That was a good beer.
It was fun. It was different
Good
from
Didn't-
Minnesota.
Didn't taste like garbage. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
It was very good, and I think we said we needed to get some of that again.
Well, I got it in March, the crowler, and then I feel like we drank it in at least June, July. So it was a good.
Yeah.
Why
it
don't
was
you
a
guys
lot.
have that fresh sometime if I'm ever back up there?
Well, why don't you go back up there, man?
Maybe I will.
All right, cool. That'd be great. Dan, I think you and I are on the same page.
Yeah,
As you pointed out to me, we have our number one beer of 2022.
and this one's
which-
already been mentioned.
Yep, which hails from episode 76, the Tampa Bay beers that you curated. Number one beer, number one with a damn bullet. Not once did I go through my list and say this wasn't number one. Sorry, I just could not do it. Dan, what was it?
So it's Green Benches,
What
Hilda's
did you
Guiding
say?
Bolt.
No, that's not
Sorry.
the beer I choose. That wasn't the beer I
Oh.
choose. I'm just joking. That is totally good.
Hilda's Guiding Bolt, which Brandon mentioned. I forget what number it was, but that is it's a blend of a hazy pale ale that's topped with Citra and lemon drop, and then they blend it with a foeder aged sour. So it's like a sour IPA, but like different than a sour
but not
IPA.
a sour IPA.
'Cause
It's
they're-
hard to explain.
Yeah, their foeder sours. I mean, they're barrel aged, so it's like it's more character than like a typical kettle sour IPA that you'd have as a sour IPA. But it was the most interesting. Like, I don't think I've ever had anything like it before.
It's the best. It's
Yeah,
one of the best beers I've
loved
ever
it.
had in my life.
It was like everything I loved about hazies and everything I loved about sours or
And it was
funky beers.
really refreshing. And as we were drinking it, I think if you go back to the episode, we talked about how much like we wish there was more of it because we just want like I think I drank through mine rather fast because it was so easy to drink and so refreshing.
Yeah, and I went down there. I guess it's been a couple months now, but and I got another bottle, and I got Tony a bottle. But I was told by the bartender that they had just finished blending a new batch.
Ooh.
So that batch that we have is like the same one that we had on the show.
Really?
Yeah. And
Well,
then,
Clark, you're in luck because I plan on sharing that one with
Ooh.
you. Since you didn't get a chance to try it.
Thank
Yeah.
you so much.
and yeah, so I'm looking forward to see what the next variation is
Yeah.
if I get the chance to get it.
I'm planning on going to Florida sometime early next year, so maybe I'll see if I can make my way up to Tampa.
St. Pete.
Whatever, dude. I don't fucking care. Well, guys, think that's going to do it for another year of the Malteez. Any surprises? Was anybody shocked about, some winners? I was shocked about Clark's number 1, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I've never heard that beer, so I guess I missed that episode.
Listen to the show, I guess, more.
I was shocked that Brandon had Hilda's Guiding Bolt on his list. Because I know he likes Saisons. I know he likes Hazy's a little bit, but it's not like 2 of his favorite styles. But
Yeah,
it's
like
like
Tony and I
together.
love Saisons.
But that was a well done beer.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, I was just not shocked because obviously it was our number 1 beer, so I know it's a good. I think it's a good beer.
But for Brandon in
yeah,
particular.
yeah.
Brandon, I was happy to hear that there was a Belgian on your list because you wanted to do.
Yeah.
You want to try more Belgian.
Hey, yeah, that's your.
What's
New Year's.
per tradition of not following through with things, we gotta.
Tony never brewed.
I did not. I brewed 1 beer, and it was shortly after.
New beer resolutions.
A couple?
No, I brewed like 1.
I thought you did a brown and a seltzers in
The brown was at the end of the year, and the seltzer was also last year. It was not. I did not do a seltzer this year, but I did a brown ale last November or December because it just came up in my.
I thought you had it for. I thought you were doing it specifically for your block party.
A brown ale for my block.
Or no, the seltzer.
No, that was last year.
Oh,
Do you have anything on tap for the block party?
Yeah, it was beer from Dry Hop.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Non-homebrewed.
Apparently, these guys don't know what year it is.
yeah.
I remember.
These
very
guys, I
clearly.
mean Dan. I did not homer. So let's start with you, Dan. What's your? Yeah, dude, you shouldn't have talked so much shit to me right now. What's your resolution for 20?
Your brewsolution.
Yeah, your
New beer resolution.
Yeah. Yeah, beer
Resolution.
resolution.
I'm gonna sort of steal Brandon's last year with the
Can't do
twist.
that. You can't
No,
do
with
that.
the twist. With the twist.
I'll be the judge of that. Dan.
We know that I'm a Saison fanboy, but I would like
We know.
to
Join the club?
Yeah, I'd like to.
Clark and I are pretty much the.
I would like to
Saison.
found the club.
We are the founders. Of the club.
Have you listened to the mystery beer episode?
Yeah, we fucking know saisons.
I want my resolution is to try and drink more actual import Saison. So yeah, be it Belgian or French or whatever.
It's a little snooty. I want to drink more imported beer. Yes, much more expensive and much more exclusive.
That's what I do.
Trying to be a little more snooty this year.
Pinkies
I'd like
out.
to spend more money on my beer.
Hey man, I'm not knocking it. I like it. That's a good choice. It's a good choice. Brandon, you got a brew solution? Brew year resolution?
I do want to actually brew more this year. That's gonna be because I think the only thing I did last year was pedestrian. But I do want to try some different stuff that I haven't done before. I'd like to do a pale ale and a true pale ale and some other stuff. But yeah, I'm gonna try and get minimum of 5 brew days in next year.
I like it. I think it's a realistic goal too.
Yeah, I was about to say 1 per quarter would be a solid goal.
4 quarters.
Yeah,
We'll
1
probably
per
be
quarter,
looking
which
at
would be
around
4.
maybe 3 tops, but
5.
5 is my stretch goal.
5. So,
Yeah.
5 is my stretch goal.
Listen to the tape.
I listened to
Is the tape still recording?
Yeah. We'll go reel to reel over here. Clark, what's your resolution?
I think I sort of started this halfway through the year. I'm going to continue to try and appreciate the lighter beers. I mean, I've always been barrel aged. I've always been IPAs, hazies. But this year I've slowly, Life's Blood was on there. It's a dark lager. But, slowly start to appreciate and drink more lighter lagers, pilsners. I have a keg of Rev Pils right now. And that's kind of crazy for me.
It is crazy for
It's
you.
always been IPA. It's always been either pale. It's either
Fist City or
anti-hero. So I know it's a stretch for me, but I'm going to continue that into the new year.
Okay. I'm gonna.
Tony, how about you?
Nothing.
I want to ask. I want to find out what you're thinking.
If somebody walked up to you on the street
What would they sound like?
and they were like, "Hey man,
man.
Oh, there's 2 of you. Oh yes. Yeah. Yes, gentlemen.
Brothers, man.
What brothers are you?
What the brothers Kropskins.
Ah, nice. Nice to meet you guys.
Ronald and Flop.
Ronald and Frump. I'm sorry. What's
Kloskins.
Kloskins. Cool.
What's your brew year's resolution?
Mine this year?
Or resolution. A revolution either way.
I'm gonna go with Brandon on this and at least get 5 brew days.
This is a 1 per quarter.
Yeah, exactly. You know math. Yeah, I think that's what
It counts if we do them together too.
Absolutely.
Good point.
Especially on top of that, not only would I like to brew, but for sure, Brandon and I, sometime in the summer, need to brew our Into the Void Imperial Stout.
Which I don't think I've ever had.
Yeah, we probably have not.
There's so many keg over
Yeah,
there.
there is very little left in a keg over there. I'd like to brew that because we've talked about it, and what I'd like to do is maybe focus on doing a 10-gallon batch so we can do 5 gallons of how we normally would do it, and then a 5-gallon adjuncted version because we've talked about doing.
Well, and we got
different
the offer
varieties.
from Joe from Percolator to pick our roast and go and
We actually
roast it
have
with him. And
also been given offers from a couple places to
Yeah.
do some things. So I think that what I'd like to do is cash in on some of those.
yes,
So that's my resolution, and to keep the podcast getting bigger and better, and hopefully get you guys, the brothers. I'm sorry, what's the last name again?
Clanskins.
The brother. Get the brother Clanskins maybe to help get Clark and Dan to more of these festivals with us, because it was fun going with you guys separately, but also it'd be nice all 4 of us to go together. But Brandon and I, regardless, are going to go, so we don't care if you guys actually make it or not.
Perfect.
So that's it. That's all we got. Those are the Malteez.
We did it.
2022.
We made it.
Big year. Big year.
I think they're playing you off the stage right now.
Oh, are they? I don't hear the music. It's like the human violin. Oh, that's what I'm singing.
It's a Malteez on WBEZ.
What were you saying, Tony?
That's all I got. Brandon, I love you. Dan, happy day.
Thank you.
Clark, play us off, buddy.
And to the extremes we sing our beer songs and have a good Maltese year.
This has been The Malting Hour. Be sure to follow us on all social media by searching The Malting Hour and at themaltinghour.com. You can also follow us individually on social media. Brandon can be found on Instagram as BMDub81, on Twitter, BDub81, and on Untapped as BDubDrinksBeer. Tony can be found on Instagram and Untapped under Ace of Help Chicago, on Twitter, The Ace of Help Chicago. Clark can be found as Clarkowski on all 3. Dan can be found on Instagram as hip__hops and hip hops on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe, like, and rate the show on your preferred podcast listening platform. Until next time, cheers from all of us at The Malting Hour.